Good morning. This is OpenSnow Meteorologist Alan Smith bringing you your severe weather forecast for Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Our friends at the Storm Prediction Center have issued a level 4 out of 5 moderate risk for severe weather across southwest Kansas, with a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk extending into eastern Colorado, eastern Kansas, and northern Oklahoma. A level 2 out of 5 slight risk extends into Missouri and Iowa to the east and western Nebraska and southeast Wyoming to the west. Today's setup features a large coverage area, but we will divide the discussion up into two zones where the severe weather setup and hazards will differ somewhat. Zone number 1 covers eastern Colorado and western Kansas, along with portions of Wyoming, Nebraska, and the Oklahoma Panhandle. Zone number 2 covers eastern Kansas, northern Oklahoma, western Missouri, northwest Arkansas, and southern Iowa. While an active day is expected across the Central Plains, the setup is fairly messy due to widespread clusters of strong to even marginally severe thunderstorms on Tuesday morning. This activity will move eastward through midday and will gradually weaken, but shower activity or cloud cover could potentially limit surface heating needed for later afternoon thunderstorm activity. However, once cloud cover erodes, there will be some outflow boundaries from this early morning activity, with converging winds and differences in temperature and moisture along the boundaries, providing the lift necessary for thunderstorm development. Also, a well defined shortwave trough in the upper levels of the atmosphere will track across the Central Plains on Monday afternoon and evening, which will act as a forcing mechanism for thunderstorm development. The shortwave will also contribute to strong deep layer wind shear, which will support the potential for widespread strong to severe thunderstorms. First, let's take a look at the western coverage zone from eastern Colorado to west central Kansas. This region will be on the cooler backside of a cold front, but northeast upslope winds and abundant moisture behind the front, along with sufficient surface heating and instability, will support a severe weather threat. Storms will develop over the front range of the Rockies by midday and will track eastward across the plains through the afternoon and evening. Supercells will be possible initially over Colorado before transitioning into multicell clusters with the potential for strong mesoscale convective systems, or MCSs, across eastern Colorado and western Kansas from late afternoon into the evening. These potential MCSs will pose the most widespread severe weather risk across the plains of eastern Colorado and western Kansas, with straight line wind gusts of 70 miles per hour or higher possible, which could cause property damage. Large hail of quarter size to golf ball size or larger will also be possible throughout this region, with our StormNet model noting the highest potential for damaging hail near the front range of Colorado. Tornadoes are less likely across most of this region, with the one exception being the Palmer Divide region between Denver and Colorado Springs, where our StormNet model is picking up on a low tornado potential with the early afternoon storms. In the eastern threat region from central Kansas and northern Oklahoma into Missouri, a strong low level jet at an altitude of about 5,000 feet will be a factor, supporting stronger low level wind shear and reinforcing a moist and unstable atmosphere ahead of an approaching cold front. This region will be in the warm sector to the south of a warm front and ahead of a surface low and approaching cold front, with a warm, humid, and unstable air mass in place. Late Tuesday afternoon, there is a threat of more discrete and isolated supercell thunderstorms across southwest Kansas, northern Oklahoma, and western Missouri, with the potential for tornadoes and golf ball size hail or larger. However, it will be more of a conditional threat due to the potential for a capping inversion from early morning thunderstorms that could potentially suppress thunderstorm development later in the day. But if we see enough surface heating in the afternoon to break through the cap, then supercell thunderstorms and tornadoes are certainly possible. Our StormNet model has a medium risk of tornadoes within 15 miles of a point across southwest Kansas and northeast Oklahoma from about 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Time, with smaller pockets of high risk also noted. The risk of tornadoes will extend into southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas later in the night when more widespread thunderstorm clusters with the potential for embedded supercells are expected. During the evening and overnight hours, as the shortwave trough tracks across the region and a cold front approaches from the west, large clusters of strong to severe thunderstorms will develop over northern and eastern Kansas and track east overnight, with the potential for powerful straight line wind gusts of 70 miles per hour or higher, which could cause tree damage and property damage. A few embedded supercells could also develop within these clusters, with the potential for brief tornadoes, with a higher threat noted over southern Missouri and northwest Arkansas. And finally, there is potential for training of thunderstorms throughout this region overnight, with high moisture levels resulting in an elevated threat of flash flooding. For Wednesday, the Storm Prediction Center has a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk stretching from southeast Missouri to southern Michigan, with a level 2 out of 5 slight risk extending northward into central Michigan and westward into central Oklahoma. We have noted two main threat areas, which are still subject to change by tomorrow morning's outlook. The primary threat area will be just east of an approaching surface low and near and just south of a warm front from eastern Illinois to southern Michigan. An upper-level jet will also push into this area, increasing deep layer wind shear. A mix of supercell thunderstorms and multicell clusters are possible across this region on Wednesday afternoon, and our StormNet model indicates a medium to high risk of tornadoes within 15 miles of any given point. Multicell clusters could also form into squall lines, with the potential for straight-line winds of 58 miles per hour or higher, which could cause damage to trees and property. Further south, confidence in the details is lower and will largely hinge on the progression of overnight and early morning thunderstorm clusters, along with remnant outflow boundaries. However, a general severe weather risk is expected ahead of an approaching cold front, with the threat extending from eastern Oklahoma into western Tennessee and Kentucky and southern Ohio. Straight-line wind gusts of 58 miles per hour or higher will pose the primary threat, though large hail and tornadoes can't entirely be ruled out. On Thursday, the low-pressure system and associated severe weather threat will shift into the eastern U.S., where the Storm Prediction Center has a level 2 out of 5 slight risk from New England and North Carolina. New England and upstate New York have the highest in severe weather potential in the vicinity of the warm front and surface low, where supercell thunderstorms capable of large hail and tornadoes are possible. To the south from Pennsylvania to North Carolina, multicell clusters with damaging straight-line winds will be the main threat. Looking further out, an active stretch of severe weather looks to reemerge over the northern plains on Friday and Saturday ahead of an approaching low-pressure system, with the threat extending eastward into the Great Lakes region by Sunday and Monday, and possibly reaching the northeast around the middle of next week. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.